The product of stress or anxiety is mind chatter. When we are stressed, our mind is trying to find resolution for those difficulties or those pressures that we're under, and therefore we're continually thinking. This is a process where the mind is trying to resolve itself, and this is one of the reasons why we think. However, this can become overbearing, and of course, the mind requires lots of energy. We use 80% or more of our energy in the brain than we do in the physical body. Therefore, if we're stressed and the mind is continually chattering on, we are using vast amounts of our own personal energy. And this is often why people report that they're always tired, that they cannot seem to find enough energy to go through their day. So what we need to do is to refine these thoughts. So how do we do this? The most constructive way of doing this is when we meditate. Naturally, we become objective and we become slightly detached from those thoughts. This objectivity, naturally by itself, calms the mind. As we meditate, those thoughts become like images on a movie screen. We observe them as observers, so we are not emotionally involved. As we become less and less emotionally involved with the thoughts that are going through our mind, they quieten. And this is the process of how we stop that chattering. Of course, this is a process through meditation of refining the thoughts that we think, because often they are a product of some insecurity or stress that we have within ourselves. An overactive mind simply means that our autonomic nervous system is overactive, and we're spending more time in what's called the sympathetic state. In this state, we use vast amounts of energy. There's also lots of stress hormones in our blood, such as cortisol. These have a detrimental effect long-term on our health, like heart disease, hardening of the arteries, etc. So we want to be on the parasympathetic side. This area we could also call rest and digest. When we meditate, we're refining those thoughts, and this gives us the ability to be very calm in a very profound way. Therefore, we're spending more time in the parasympathetic state, and this has a rejuvenating effect on our physical bodies. As you probably noticed, the mind is always chattering away in the background, and how annoying this can sometimes be. It's just like we want to turn it off. But how do we do that? Can we do that? Yes, we can. It's actually quite easy to do. Why are we chattering? Why is our mind running in the background at such velocity? It is because we are stressed. If we're anxious, if we're under pressure, the mind will try and compensate, because the purpose of thinking is to find resolution. If we can't find an immediate resolution, the mind will continue to chatter. The more stressed we are, the greater the velocity of that chattering. This makes us feel as if we're never at peace, that we can't find relaxation. But in reality, we can. It's very easy to do. So how do we stop that chattering? How do we refine the mind? How do we make the mind more relaxed? Meditation is the perfect tool for this. As you descend within yourself through meditation, you become objective naturally to that monkey mind, to all those thoughts chattering away. What happens here is that you become emotionally non-attached to those thoughts. The moment that happens, the velocity of the thinking reduces greatly. So this brings the feeling of peace, that we're finally at peace within ourselves because there's not that chattering eternally in the background. So meditation has many, many benefits. It also gives you that objectivity, that you can see why you're having these thoughts, that will often point to certain personal weaknesses or insecurities that we have to find resolution to overcome. So we want to find peace. We want to find peace in our lives. In reality, peace and happiness are connected. You cannot find happiness unless you're at peace within yourself. So overcoming mind chatter is an extremely important thing to do in our lives. We can go running, we can do yoga, etc., and momentarily our minds will feel calmer and more at peace. But unfortunately, we haven't resolved the issues that have created the mind to chatter in the first place, because we need to refine those thoughts. And this is one wonderful thing that is achieved through meditation, simply because as you dive within yourself and draw on those subtler energies, these are infused into the patterned or conditioned areas of the mind, and they refine those thoughts. So therefore, these thoughts no longer have control or hold over you. So with mind chatter, as the chatter reduces, we have greater clarity of mind. Also, there's another faculty that is resident within the deeper levels of the mind that will rise into our consciousness, and this is intuition and awareness. Therefore, we begin thinking more intuitively, and we have greater and expanded awareness. So then we begin to realize that our little small mind is actually much more than that it's connected to the universal mind, and we begin to draw on that universal mind rather than our individual mind. So in fact, we become more universal. The benefits of thinking intuitively help our life in so many different ways. We're almost always one step ahead. We can see the motives behind people's actions, even when they're smiling at us. So these are very useful tools. So clarity, peacefulness, and of course that peacefulness will lead us to greater happiness.